missionaries. This is Artie Pingelt again from Mission Project Service. This time coming to you live from Washington, D.C. with Greg McCarthy.
Good afternoon, everyone.
He's the executive director of the Loyola Foundation, which is based here in the U.S. So we just have a few questions to help you learn about another foundation and what might help you in your work in obtaining your mission funding. Greg, can you tell us just a little bit about the Loyola Foundation and the types of projects that you guys like to fund?
Sure. We're a family-based private foundation dedicated to assisting overseas Catholic mission activities. Mm-hmm. And the type of projects we fund are capital in nature and finite.
Okay. Can you help me understand a little bit, what do you mean by a capital project?
Specifically construction, equipment, vehicles, anything you can tangibly put your hands around.
Perfect.
Whereas we don't often fund operational or capacity building projects, and we definitely usually don't fund multi-year projects.
Okay, great. The question is, what would be the most important thing for a missionary to bear in mind if they think about applying to the Loyola Foundation?
The greatest chance of success for your application. It has to be something that's non-recurring, as I mentioned.
Okay.
And it has to obviously benefit Catholic mission activities overseas. But I think the biggest thing that our foundation looks for is that their funding will help finish a project.
Okay, to help finish a project. And probably, and I also need to remind the missionaries that you need to get your application in on time too.
Everybody, I think, has deadlines of various kinds, yes.
Okay.
And that is very important. I think another very important thing is to tailor your application to the mission of the foundation you're applying for. When my daughter applied to college, obviously they had a Common App, and I think some people still use those for applying to foundations, and that's fine, but people are always looking for how will this play into the mission of our foundation.
Perfect. This is a tough question, but or maybe it's not so tough. What's the most frequent reason why applications fail when submitted to the Loyola Foundation?
Specifically when submitted to the Loyola Foundation, it's fairly simple. If they're non-Catholic, as I mentioned, if they're what we call too expensive, if it's a $200,000 project and you're looking for $10,000 to $20,000 to get started, then the third reason is just based on our guidelines. We only accept one request per a given diocese per year. So we accept the first one that comes in from a particular diocese, but we can't accept multiple applications from the same diocese.
And Greg, does your application then require the approval of the local bishop?
Very much so. That's a non-negotiable requirement with our foundation. It has to be an original letter. It's best if it is not general, once again, if it says that I support this particular project and I support a project that benefits, this particular place. That's ever so much better than I know Father so-and-so and I like him a lot.
You've got to get the bishop's endorsement for a good project.
Also, if I have any, because we do overseas mission grants, if I have any problems whatsoever, we don't have people on the ground, so I go directly to the diocese.
Wow, okay.
So that's very important in terms of the legitimacy of the project.
Make sure it's a real recommendation. And if someone wanted to explore Loyola Foundation on the web, what is your web address?
www.loyolafoundation, which is all one word in that case, .org, O-R-G.
Okay. And final word from you, any general advice for missionaries that are out there watching this video?
I thought about that a lot. I would say two things. Legitimacy and, what's the word I'm looking for here? Legitimacy and leverage. Because everyone wants to do a project that has the best chance of success. So in terms of legitimacy, if you already have funding from other organizations, if you have, the support of the local Catholic community, and if you have support of the local community itself, that tends to read as having the highest chance of success. And in terms of leverage, if you can position the idea that if I don't have all the money together, your grant will give me a real leg up on getting the money from other people. That tends to play very well with our foundation. I don't know how it works with other foundations, but I would assume that's also taken as a positive by them as well.
Okay, perfect.
So I would say really think out your request, have it worked out in such a way that you can position it or present it to say, this has a very good chance for success and we can do it within a set period of time.
All right. Well, Greg, thank you very much for your time. And I need to remind all of our missionaries out there, Greg and the Loyola Foundation is making no promises, but just helping us all understand the process a bit more, and specifically helping understand what Loyola Foundation hopes to accomplish as well.
Oh, may I say one last thing?
Yes.
Which is, I am working with my foundation. I know other people are working with their foundations, at least from the staff level up, to see if we can make the process easier and more user-friendly for people, so that they don't have to have an onerous amount of paperwork submitted for a rather small amount of money. If it can just be simple to the point and contain the information that has the most interest to the board members that are going to consider the grant, I think we should all work towards doing it that way.
All right. Thanks again, Greg.